Hello, everybody. This is Joe Newman from Small Office Systems. Small Office Systems has been saving people like you from experts for over 30 years. Call SOS and we'll save you. Today, I'm going to be talking about malware, spyware, viruses, Trojans, keyloggers, evil stuff that gets on your computer and causes all kinds of problems. Now, I'm not going to be talking about how to clean these things off. That's a topic for a whole other set of videos. What I'm going to be talking about is how to try to prevent these things from getting on your computer in the first place. Prevention, what is it, the old saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So the best thing to do is make sure that you never get any of this kind of stuff on your computer in the first place. Where does most of this stuff come from? How does it get on your computers? Of course, thanks to our illustrious news outlets and journalists and reporters. A lot of people still have the idea that there are teenagers sitting in their bedroom in their parents' house on a computer somewhere, hacking their way into your computer. Some way, somehow, they're randomly stumbling across your computer and the one in millions of computers that are out there, and they're somehow getting in and controlling your computer from the outside world. Not true. Sorry, it doesn't happen that way, except in movies. Regardless of what you hear about Chinese hackers and Iranian hackers and North Korean hackers and this hacker and that hacker, this stuff doesn't really happen. Your computer is most likely not directly connected to the internet without some sort of firewall or some sort of protection in between. There are issues you'll hear regularly in various news organizations, or if you pay attention to computer type news, you might hear about Microsoft has released another set of patches, security leaks that they found, security issues, or Mac. Apple has released some update to OS X, or you hear about these kind of things, and they do their job for the media to scare people and get headlines that people will pay attention to and look at the articles maybe, but they are not really things that concern the typical person, meaning me and you. They don't affect most home users and the typical small office users. A lot of this stuff that you hear about in the news, these affect large corporations that occasionally are targeted, or uh, they're large organizations that are so big that it's relatively easy to do what's called social engineering rather than hacking. Now, what is social engineering? Social engineering is one of the most famous hacking skills out there because it has nothing to do with so-called hacking. Hacking is working on a computer, trying to figure things out, learning about computer systems, finding weaknesses, finding strengths. That's what hacking originally was. The famous hackers that people in the computer industry often try to refer to as black hat hackers or crackers or just outright criminals. That's their intent. One of the most famous of these people got caught and went to prison, and his strength was not necessarily in computer skills to getting into people's computers. His skill was what's called social engineering. He would call a large company and he would say, "Hi, this is Bob from IT. There's a problem we detected on your computer. We're going to need to get onto it to see if we can figure this out. So I'm going to need your password." And of course, the person that answered the phone said, "Sure, here's my password," and gave it to him without ever bothering to check if the company even has a Bob in IT. And if it does have a Bob in IT, is it company policy for people to just give their passwords out to whoever calls on the phone? That should not be the case. Unfortunately, there are so many IT experts out there that do things like this that trying to weed out the bad guys from the good guys gets all that much harder. The main way that I'm going to be talking about a detecting methods of people trying to get stuff on your computer is things you do, or things you can avoid doing. Now, most internet service providers, when they provide you with your internet connection, they provide you with a box that connects either to your cable TV line or to a phone line, DSL type system, or maybe some sort of fiber optic connection. And they may refer to this as a router. They may refer to it as a router slash firewall. Most likely, whatever they call it, cable, router, firewall, whatever it is, they provide a device called a firewall for you. The main why they're providing these now and they provide this is because they can't understand that when a customer of theirs has a problem, gets something on their computer that causes damage, but if the first thing they do is they call the cable company, they call the lock up my computer, get all upset, and it's a nightmare for the support people and the internet providers to try to provide support and fix these kinds of problems. So they think it's worth it. Provide $50 a month to people that without most bad guys from the outside world trying to break in. So those methods are largely not too common to get into your computer. Somebody just kind of force their way in through the internet or through some sort of dial-up connection. Most people don't have anymore, anyways. A lot of your computers, especially in the Microsoft world, Windows XP, Vista 7 and 8, they all come with a software firewall on the system. And this software firewall is set up to try to prevent intruders from finding weaknesses in the operating system that they can exploit. But for the most part, again, most people are already behind a hardware firewall set up by your internet provider, and the software firewall that's built into Windows is often more a source of problems than any kinds of evil attempts at getting into your computer. Most of the time, what I run into is people are complaining that some program that they've gotten is not working. They get a computer program for doing trading, for example, stock trading or some sort of trading, and it won't communicate with the broker or dealer's computers. People get various applications where they're trying to communicate with some other company, and it's not working, and it turns out that they have the firewall on their computer is on, and that's blocking legitimate software, and this creates nothing but hassle for them and for IT support people, and in most cases, a lot of us just turn the thing off. And then, of course, you'll have IT people that say absolutely never turn it off because it's attached something that gets on the machine and then tries to call home. So there's different debates about whether or not that's worthwhile to keep those. That's something, if you want to discuss further with me in your particular situation, give me a call, email me. The information will be at the end of this video, info@smallofficesystems.biz. Okay, so what are the most common ways people get nastiness on their computer? Well, they do it to themselves. They click on something, they go to some website that is not necessarily a legitimate website, and it downloads or offers something that they're interested in. They click on it, download it, run it, or install it on their machine. In other words, they've done all the steps necessary to install something on their machine. They've done it themselves, and it turns out the thing that they're installing either is itself evil or it has what's called a payload, an attachment of some sort, something hidden in it, something extra that comes along and installs and causes all kinds of problems. Every now and then you hear about what's called a drive-by download, drive-by virus. This is kind of rare. Sometimes you go to a website and there's an ad or there's something on the page which theoretically it's possible you just move your mouse over that spot on the web page and it will then go ahead and initiate some sort of download or installation on your computers. Most people's computers are probably protected against some of this kind of thing and won't do it depending on what internet browser you're using, depending on what antivirus or software you have installed on your machine. And by the way, a good paid version of an antivirus software is not an option. All new computers should come with this installed and not this crapware that unfortunately comes with a lot of computers. You know, you go to Best Buy or wherever, you go to some store, you buy a computer, it come home, and it's got advertising maybe on the package or in a brochure for this computer that comes with so-and-so antivirus pre-installed. And what you find out the hard way is that it's a trial version or it has a limited time that it functions. It could be a few days, it could be a few months. Some cases it's even a year, which is fine. But when the messages start popping up on your screen regularly that you should subscribe to it or pay for a subscription, you should either pay for that or research other software that you might think is better. Again, you can contact me and ask for advice on these kinds of things. I've done extensive research and I try my best to keep up with what works best in various situations. But this is not an option. There's some free antivirus software out there, which a lot of people say they work pretty well. The only problem is if you have a problem with one of those, you get a virus on your machine, you might not be able to get support to help you remove what's on there. You might not get support in the manner in which you would prefer. For example, one of the free ones, you might be able to send an email to the company that makes that antivirus software, And then what they're going to do is they're going to respond via email, and who knows where they are. They might be on the other side of the world. So every email you go back and forth might be another 24-hour period, and your computer's down for a week before you might get something resolved. You pay for an antivirus software, and often you'll be able to get phone support, immediate support, chat support right away, or the person or company who sold you that system might be able to help you. That's my situation. That's what I do. One of the things I do. You buy antivirus software through me, and we install it, we maintain it, and if there are issues, we will, of course, help get you out of them and help facilitate in support for that kind of thing. Okay, so what can you do to try to prevent getting crap on your computer in the first place? The number one source of getting something no good on your machine happens to be email. People get email. It comes with a link. There's something interesting about the email. You open it up, you look at it. It has a click here link of some sort. You click on that link, and either clicking on it might install something or try to install something on your machine, or it will download something on your machine, which then tells you go ahead and click on this to open it. And you'll click on it, and again, you're facilitating essentially installing a problem on your machine. Now, how do they trick you? You're an intelligent person. You're a professional, college graduate, whatever case may be. You're not a dope, okay? So how does this stuff trick you? How do they catch you? Well, let's take a look at some examples here and see how slick some of these can be. Now, there was a time when a lot of these emails were going out to people, and they have grammatical errors in them. They were filled with mistakes, obvious stuff. You look at it, and it says it comes, for example, from Bank of America, and you look at it, and things are spelled wrong. There's grammatical errors. There's all kinds of things in there where you look at it, and you say, someone from Bank of America did not approve of this being sent out to thousands or millions of bank customers. It's kind of obvious this is garbage, and you ignore it. Interestingly enough, people that send these kinds of fake emails out filled with errors, they've actually been interviewed and gone on record saying that they purposely put errors in their emails because they don't want to catch the attention of you or me that's not going to follow through. We're going to get to a point in this email where we're going to realize there's something odd about it, even if it looks good. Clicking on something and something odd happens, the chances of us realizing it's a fraud and possibly getting authorities involved is too high. So they purposely target emails at people that are not necessarily so capable. How do I phrase it nicely? People that the grammatical errors or spelling errors, they don't realize, they don't happen to notice those errors. And unfortunately, people that don't notice those things are often more likely to follow through on a fraudulent email system, whether it's a link to a fake website where it asks for all of their information and they go ahead and provide it, or ask them to do something to provide these people with money or whatever. And people who have issues with understanding grammar and spelling might often be tricked easier into uh, doing the wrong thing than people who recognize the errors. So then you have the opposite spectrum, which is happening more and more, where you have emails that are targeted either specifically at people that they feel have money or have the means of paying them, often some sort of ransom, or just foolishly sending something without realizing you're sending them money, your bank information, whatever it is. Now, how do they do it? Well, we look in here, and I collected a bunch of these over a period of time. And you look at this first one here that says it's from Costco. Okay, now a lot of us are familiar with the big store, Costco, the warehouse, pseudo wholesale warehouse where you pay your membership fee and you shop and you load up your cart with 80-gallon bottles of ketchup and whatnot. So a lot of people have memberships to Costco. Or there's also a Costco, I believe, that makes baby accessories or baby furniture. So people are familiar with this name. Order status. Did my wife order something from Costco? Did I order something and forget about it? I don't know. So this one, people will click on it. Okay. Let's see. What's this one here? Order status. See? It comes up and it says Costco Wholesale. Okay, online store received an order, and the personal data of the recipient coincides with yours. So somebody sees this and they're gonna be like, I don't remember ordering anything. Honey, did you order something from Costco? No. Okay, well, what is this? And here it is. You may see order details, and it's got a link. How do you tell if this is legitimate? It's very, very easy. Pretty much every email program I've come across, whether it be Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, Mac Mail on Mac machines, Apple machines, Linux-based mail systems, which happens to be what I'm using right here. This is something called Roundcube. It is a Linux-based email system. Yahoo, Gmail, a lot of the online mail service providers, they all have this same feature. If you're suspicious or you got any kind of email that's telling you you should click on something to look up something which you're not sure of, or maybe provide information which might be personal, don't click on the link. Move your mouse pointer, first of all, over the from line here. You see here it says under order status from Costco. Notice when I move my mouse pointer on top of that. Look at the very bottom of the screen, right below where I'm looking here. Okay? You see that it says mail to order at pdact.com? That right there is all you should need to know to realize that this email's fake. It's not coming from Costco.com. It's coming from something completely different. Okay, so that's the first sign this is a fake. You can do the very same thing by moving the mouse pointer over the link, but just be very careful you don't actually click the link. Don't press the mouse button. Now, the computer I'm using is one of these flat pad, flat pad type mousing surfaces. So sometimes it's easy to accidentally tap on it lightly and click. So you might want to use a real mouse that has buttons, or I'll switch over to using the little pointer stick, which doesn't click. I'll move my pointer over the word here, which is the link. And what do we see down at the bottom here? Does that look anything like Costco website? No, dev4.coolwebs.co.nz. And that's another big clue right there. Instead of a .com suffix over there, it has a .con, an NZ, or a CN, or a CA, or E, whatever, something that indicates the country that this is actually going to. Now, NZ, I think, is New Zealand. I'm not 100% certain. But regardless, why would Costco send you an email from New Zealand if you live in the United States or any other country? That kind of doesn't make sense. That does not necessarily mean that the bad guys that are behind this email trying to trick you are in New Zealand. They have probably taken control of a computer somewhere that is sending out these emails and providing the fake website or whatever this is doing when you click on this. I look here, you also see after the dev4.coolwebs.co.nz/system.php. If you see that down right below where I'm looking here, that PHP is also a clue that this is going to be going to a website that could do something, whether it pushes the download onto your machine or something else. It's going to do something. If it was a download, it might have a file extension like exe or .com. So that's a good tip. That if you see that, it's going to try to do something on your machine. Okay, let's see what other kind of emails there are here. Most of these, again, they trick you by looking like something which a lot of people actually use. Best Buy. Thank you for buying from Best Buy. Okay, I know I didn't buy anything from Best Buy, so this is obviously fake. Again, if you know you didn't buy anything from this company or you have no business with this company, don't click on it. Okay, if you get an email from supposedly from American Express that says your card has been compromised, you need to log in or anything along those lines, and you don't have an American Express card, you know that email is fake. Delete it permanently. Do not click on it. Do not even bother opening it. I run into this, unfortunately, a little too often, where somebody will click on something, for example, that says it's from ADP Payroll, or if it's from American Express, and then they screw up their machine, and they're calling me, my machine's gone haywire. What happened? Oh, well, I got this email from American Express, for example, and I clicked on it, and next thing I know, my machine's going amok. And I asked them, do you have an American Express card? And they'll say no. And then I say, well, why did you click on it if you don't have an American Express card? And I get a sheepish smirk, and I get several billable hours, usually of service repairing their system. Excuse me for a moment. It's just water. Save the good stuff for later. Okay, so here we go with a fake email from Best Buy. How do I know it's fake? Several ways. I haven't purchased anything from Best Buy recently, and Best Buy does not send out emails with zip file attachments, which is what's on here. Now, again, the first thing we could do is go up here to where it says from Best Buy, move the mouse on top. What does it say? Mail to support at ciebookstore.com. Not Best Buy. Delete this. Now, there's no link in this email, so is it safe? No, it's got an attachment on it. Best Buy order. What is the attachment? It is a zip file. What is a zip file? If you're not familiar at this point with zip files, it's a method of compressing files so you can send them faster and easier a lot of times through email or through computer network systems. They'll take up less bandwidth and they'll go faster if they're compressed. That's what compression was invented for, was for fast transfer over dial-up lines. Nowadays, most of the times, it seems like zip compression is often used to hide the real file type. Because when you compress something into the zip file, it's not showing you right here the actual file name that's inside that zip file. It could be .exe, which is an executable, meaning when you click on this and open it, you could be releasing a computer program that's, of course, going to try to take over your machine and do God knows what. You might not notice anything happen. It could be turning your machine into what's called a bot, which could be used to generate more spam emails that go to other people. It could turn your machine into a server, which provides a fake website, which people that get fake emails will click on and go to, and it's sending out fake data. And you could get a knock on your door one day from the FBI or some law enforcement agency saying that they've traced a source of malicious software to your computer. By the way, don't be afraid. God forbid that happens. It rarely happens to consumers, to individuals that are not involved in any way in any kind of criminal activity in terms of computer crimes. Luckily, most law enforcement computer crime people are good enough to understand and know and recognize so-called bot activity. They know computers are hijacked by others, and it's not you that's doing this. They might contact you to tell you how to clean the thing off your machine, especially if it is really up to no good. So you see, fake return address, zip attachment, do not open it, delete it immediately. What are some other ways to trick you? Here's another big one, PayPal, okay? Everybody I know uses PayPal at some point. I've run across very few people that have never used PayPal and won't use PayPal, don't want to use PayPal, whatever reasons they don't use PayPal. An awful lot of people use PayPal. You use eBay, you use Amazon.com. So a lot of scam emails come out with this name purporting to be from PayPal. And you'll notice something here in this particular email program I'm using. Just going over the from name that's listed here in the from column, it brings up the little tip box over here. And you see it says PayPal at epaypal.com. .e.paypal. Now that looks legit. So you open this email here, and it's got images in it. Okay, is this legit? Again, I come over here. It looks like it. Okay, and it's got a big button on the page that says Shop Now. Do I dare click on a button that says Shop Now? Where does this go? Look down here, and it goes to email-edg.paypal.com. It looks legit, actually. Wayfairsupply.com. That also goes to email to PayPal. This how PayPal offers work goes to something at paypal.com. Well, guess what? Wayfair, PayPal. This actually turns out that this is a legitimate offer sponsored or sent out by PayPal on behalf of a PayPal customer, something called Wayfair Supply. It is odd, though, here that this link that shows in the plain text, www.wayfairsupply.com, Down below, it actually goes to email-egg.paypal.com. What this is called a refer. So what happens is PayPal and this Wayfair company apparently have set up some sort of deal where somebody is getting a cut of some of the other's sales. So if you clicked on this, it would go through PayPal and notify to PayPal's computers that somebody clicked on this Wayfair supply link, and then it will probably pass you on to this website, Wayfair Supply. And if you buy anything on this Wayfair Supply website, PayPal might get a cut of that, or they might have to pay something to PayPal for generating business for them. That's most likely what it is. So this is actually, turns out this is a legitimate email. And let me mention something real quick about these images. Most of the email programs that I've come across now have the ability, or the default ability, to not display pictures or images in the emails. If the email was created with some sort of picture in it, most email programs now by default, when you get them, it tells you to protect your privacy, remote images are blocked in this message. Every now and then I have somebody comes along and says, why is a picture blocked? It's usually just a logo. It might not be PayPal's logo, for example, in this case. I'll click on it in a second so we can see what it is, but because I know this particular email does happen to be legit. So yeah, here it's PayPal logo, or it's a picture of something they're trying to sell you, whatever it is. Okay, Wayfair Supply, logos, images. How can these possibly be dangerous? How is an image in an email dangerous? Well, what happens is, in order to save bandwidth again and not send out a million emails with pictures in each one, what happens is the emailer will put a link in their email that refers to the picture stored on a server somewhere. So for example, this PayPal logo is probably stored on a server that's operated by PayPal. And this Wayfair Supply, this big picture, is stored on a server somewhere. So they send out this email, doesn't have to have this picture in it, because that could take up a lot of space to send out a million emails with these pictures embedded in each email. It's much more efficient to send out these emails that just look to get the image off a server once you open the email. The problem with this is that the server that sends these images or stores them can also be configured to create a log file of when these images are requested and by who. So the fact that I clicked on this, or they might actually hide a 1 pixel image, a tiny pixel image. So for example, this white background here, someone that's up to no good or just wanted to track to see which of their emails are actually being received, they can hide an image that's white, a white dot on this white background, and you can't see it. You open this image, you click display, you open this email and you click display images, you'll never see this. But what it's done is the server that the little dot is actually stored on will create a log file saying the email that was sent to Joe at smallofficesystems.biz or whatever it was opened and viewed. It requested this image. Therefore, that's a real email address, and now the emailers have a confirmed legitimate address that they can add to their collection to sell to other spammers or to just continue to use to send you mail. So a lot of times you might not want to display the images unless it's something that you really need to see. What else we got here? A little bit more. Now, some of these are obvious. You look at some of these emails. Mr. Monaco Qui, no idea who that is, but you see when I move my mouse pointer over that, the name that comes up is scanner@gardentravel.it. Not even close to this person. Don't know what this is. Okay. E-fax. Okay. I don't receive faxes anymore. Who receives faxes anymore? Okay. Some professional offices, medical offices deal with faxes. They deal with a fax machine for the most part, or they have a medical record system that handles transactions between doctors' offices and stuff. Very rare people are going to be sending faxes back and forth through email. I actually am aware of some companies that still do this. They do scan files, or they generate files on their computer and send them to fax machines on the other end. I'm not sure why some companies still work this way. They receive faxes by computer. And then a lot of times they send them to people's email anyway. So it doesn't make sense, but I myself don't really do any faxing. This is a popular one because people a lot of times will see this and go, oh, a fax? Who the heck is sending me a fax? Okay, again, let's move our mouse pointer over the from inbound.efax.com. Ooh, looks legit. We open it up. It's got images. Again, I'm not sure if this is a legitimate email. I don't want anybody to know that my email is valid. I'm not going to let them log that I've looked at this, so I don't want to bring up the images. It says I received a fax from, and it's a phone number that, of course, I don't recognize right here, 915. No idea. Okay? Hover over these links that are in here, and look what we got here. Okay? Something called uzeyir.net. Again, not even close to efax.com. This is a scam. Okay? And I just clicked on it. Okay? Luckily, this is what's called a sandbox machine. I wouldn't have a problem if it did download something evil. Okay, that's like I said, I'm using this flat trackpad and just barely tapped on it, and it actually accidentally clicked. Okay, so let's go back to our stick, and we got here, view this fax using your PDF reader. Move over that, and we see that the link is again going to a web page. It's not actual download of a PDF file. Most likely what will happen is I'll click on this and it'll try to install something or download something which will be evil. Very likely ransomware. This seems to be, unfortunately, a little too popular nowadays. Something called ransomware. You might have heard of this crypto locker, crypto wall. There's a few variations of this. What happens is you get this on your machine and it starts encrypting all of your files, all of your documents, and then leaves notes, files on your machine telling you to read this. Important message. You open those up and they tell you that all of your files have been encrypted. You have X amount of time, 24 hours or 3 days or whatever it is, to wire money or somehow transfer money to some offshore account somewhere. In which case, if you do that, you're told you will get a key to decrypt, or someone will remotely decrypt your files and you'll be fine. Believe it or not, in some cases where people have done this, they've paid the ransom, and yes, their files have actually been decrypted. This is very sweet of these criminals to not leave people hanging like this. They fancy themselves businessmen. I don't know what the deal is, but apparently this ransomware is making some of these people actually several $1,000,000. A lot of these come out from Eastern Europe, by the way, Estonia, and countries in Eastern Europe. Russian hackers. These usually are criminals. Okay, these are not teenage boys sitting in a parent's house anywhere. These are criminal organizations that are involved in this kind of thing. Unfortunately, if you did get ransomware and you tried to report it, for example, to the FBI, there's not really anything they can do because the criminals are in some foreign country somewhere. So again, the best thing to do is make sure you do not get these things on your machine. What if you do get something like that on your machine? Backups. Okay, backups is another thing. I mentioned earlier that antivirus is not an option. You must have this on your machine from day one. Backups are another thing. Backups, even fewer people a lot of people put antivirus type software on the machine. Very few people actually seem to consider backup. Oh, all I'm doing is I'm doing some emailing. I'm looking at the web. I don't need the backup. And I get the call. My machine has gone amok. Something's wrong. I can't get to my documents. I have a report due tomorrow. I need it bad. I've worked on this for 3 months. All of the pictures of my children that I stored on my computer are gone. I copied them from my camera and then wiped them out on the camera because I thought they were safe on my computer. No, I never made a backup. I need these. These are pictures of my children when they were babies. I have no other copies. Unfortunately, again, I run into this a little too often. Backup nowadays is not the ordeal it used to be. Back in the old days, you were dealing with floppy disks, believe it or not. Yes, I started back actually before floppy disks. Don't bring up punch cards or mag stripe cards. But anyways, yeah, back in the old days, you were discs, you were magnetic tapes, whether they were cassettes or cartridges. which in a lot of places are actually still used, tape cartridges for backup. They were better than nothing. Unfortunately, they caused a lot of problems. They were horribly, notoriously unreliable. And I would often get a call from, well, not often, but occasionally I would get a call from a client, which I'd set up a backup system, gave them lessons, instructed them, tested them, made sure they were fully aware and versed on how to operate this system. And I'd get a call months later, something happened, our machine crashed, we've got CAD drawings or something we need to get back. Okay, let's repair the machine. The machine's up and running. Okay, I need your latest set of tapes from the past week, from yesterday or the day before the crash happened. What tapes? What are you talking about? We got the one tape you set up when you first set this up. Okay, I didn't give you one tape. I gave you a whole box of tapes, and I taught you how to rotate the tapes and change them and order new ones. And this was set up to run automatically. Oh, yeah, it ran automatically. It was running every day on the one tape over and over and over again. So maybe they have a backup, or maybe they have a tape that's stretched over time and is no longer reliable. So anyways, people ran into those kind of hassles and kind of gave up on backups. They don't want to have to futz around with changing tapes or checking. Some people are religious about their backup medium. They'll change the tapes. They'll do what needs to be done to make sure the backups are being sent somewhere, whether it's to a tape or a disk system or off-site, but they never actually bother to test the backups and try to restore anything until it's too late. They lost something. They go to retrieve it, and they find out the backups have been failing for the last 3 months, and nobody's paid attention. Alerts weren't set up, or somebody was getting an email every day saying that it failed, and they ignored it for whatever reason. So you need a backup system set up if you don't have one. If you're doing anything on your machine which is part of your company making money, or as a part of your computer, your life, your pictures of your children, music, that files that you've paid for, anything that's going to cost you time, effort, or grief. If you lose it, you should consider what that would be worth if you try to replace it and can't. Backup systems are very cheap now. Offline backups, or excuse me, online so-called cloud backups that will back up everything on your computer to some remote data center where it's multiply redundant, and the chances of losing something are very close to zero. You set these kinds of systems up on your machine, you let them go, they cost you a few dollars a month. Some of them are as cheap as $50 a year or less. They're even lower. It depends on what you're backing up. They are kind of set it and forget it nowadays. They do reporting. They'll tell you if something goes wrong, or they can tell your IT provider. If you have any more questions or want to talk about backup systems, again, contact me, info@smallofficesystems.biz. Web link will be at the end of the video. But that's how you get over these kinds of evil viruses and things that corrupt your machine. I just recently had a situation where somebody again, they clicked on something in an email, which they shouldn't have, and somehow it messed up the key on their Windows, the key that when you purchase Windows software legitimately, like Windows 7, you get a license key. You buy a computer that Windows is already installed on, the key is already on there, but often there's a sticker on your computer somewhere that has a key on it. Somehow that key got corrupted in Windows and they couldn't repair it. There was no way to put it back in, so Windows came up with a black screen saying it was not genuine. They couldn't do anything. All of their icons were gone. There was nothing they could do. So they called for help. And luckily in these situations, they had not messed with any of the default settings that I had configured for them, and they had backups from the day before this disaster happened. And I was able to restore the machine actually in 2 situations. I restored their machines within a few minutes to the situation or the condition it was in before they got the virus, and they lived happily ever after so far. No backups. You get some corruption on your machine. You know, it's a time and money you're looking at. There might be ways to restore things that you think are completely corrupted, but they could end up requiring hard drives to be sent to special recovery services that can end up charging you several $1,000s. It's not fun. Pay the insurance up front and get backups done regularly. And best of all, pay attention to what I'm trying to teach you in this video and just don't click on things if you don't know what it is. Even if you think you know what it is, if it's PayPal, which you use, if it's American Express that you use, remember, these companies don't ask you for login details. They don't ask for personal detail in an email. This is their policy. They are aware of the scams that go on in their name, and they've made it their policies, especially banks that don't want to get sued. They will never send you an email asking you to click here to log in, provide your name, provide your social security number, provide your birth date, provide your password. They will not ask for that through email. If they do have an issue, they will call you on the telephone, and you will then be able to contact them back, or they'll send you an email saying, go to our legitimate website and make sure it's real. For example, go to your web browser and type in www.bankofamerica.com. Enter, do not click on a link in an email, and then you'll know you're truly at the real website. But best of all, you can always just call your bank or call somebody that's sending you an email saying that there's a problem with your account. Call the phone number that you know is their real phone number and deal with their support people and find out whether or not there really is an issue that you need to deal with. Okay, we're just about ready to wrap up here. One last thing. Here's an email here that you see. It says from this guy, Morty, something or other. Move my mouse pointer over the from, and you see it says Vicky C at guamanpolma.org. Okay, so right away I know that this is fake. I know this did not come from this guy Morty. You don't realize this a lot of times. You see an email from someone that's a friend of yours, or a business acquaintance, or somebody you know. You recognize the name, and you think, oh, what's he sending me? Maybe you know something's going on in their life, and they're sending out news, or they're sending out information, a family picture or something, a Christmas card, whatever it is. So you think, okay, this is cool. This guy sends me every now and then. He'll send me a link to a news article that he found interesting, and he thinks I'll like. So let's see. Click on this. Oh, one of the best lessons from Oprah here. A lot of people are fooled by this one. They see an email that looks like it's coming from someone they know, a friend of theirs, a relative, a business acquaintance, somebody that's in the past legitimately sent them real links to news articles, and here is one. You think it's something interesting. Oh, what does he want me to see here? I better click on this, see what it's about. Now you'll notice again, when I move my mouse pointer over this link, this is what makes this one particularly dangerous. The link that's visible here, KNAMKULATHY.com, marriage.php, this matches. It appears to match the website that it'll bring you to. Now, there are ways of doing what's called spoofing, where they can put something here that when you hover over it, it might show something that matches and it might bring you to someplace else. That's rare. I myself have not really run across any of those emails that are that sophisticated. Just be aware that they can exist. It's possible. It's also possible that the from email address has been spoofed, and it might actually say it's from Morty Kaplinsky or whoever this person, it is. But if you're the least bit suspicious, contact them. We've got the giveaway here that this did not really come from him. It came from someone else. So again, you can contact him. If you know this person's phone number or email, just contact them. Call them up or send them another email saying, did you just send me this link? What is this? You can tell your friends, and you yourself can get in the habit, if you're sending news links or article links or some sort of link that you want to send somebody, tell them what it is in the email. Put something in the email that they'll know is personal, that they'll recognize is that, yeah, this is really from Joe. Put a line that, a greeting or salutation that you always use in your emails between people. Put greetings. Hey, dude. Hey, Mike. Hey, Bill. This is Joe. I found this article about such and such. I thought you might be interested. Then they can look at it, and maybe that will help them determine whether or not it's legitimate. Again, some of these scammers are getting pretty slick. So if you've got the least bit of suspicion, don't click. Ask first, okay? Make everything better for everybody. Save yourself a hassle. Save your IT person a hassle. And save yourself some time and money. And I thank you for watching. And hopefully you'll understand now ways to protect yourself, keep yourself safe, and you'll spread this information to other people. help other family members, relatives, friends understand what I've taught you today, maybe even have them watch the video. One last thing here before I go. You see this thing here, Global Link Digital Certificate Installation. Doesn't make sense to most people. What the heck is a digital certificate installation? A lot of people probably would just ignore this one right away just because they have no clue what this is talking about. I'll click on it and open it, and the odd thing about this one is to know this is a legitimate email. Okay, the weird thing about this is that this says, Dear Global Link client, you're receiving this email from GeoTrust VeriSign to install a Global Link certificate on your computer. Immediately, this set off red alerts, warning bells, and people that got this. This was actually forwarded to me by someone that I do some work for, asking me if this was legit. This has the signs of being some sort of scam. Okay, this immediately tells you it wants to install something on your computer. Something that the typical computer person and even a lot of computer savvy people have no clue what is this talking about. Why is this wanting to install a global link certificate? What on earth is global link? And the link that they give you to click on is going to something called products.geotrust.com. Now, a lot of IT people know what GeoTrust is. It's a company that produces what are called digital certificates. And again, digital certificates, if you want to know what they are, Google's your friend for that one. Those are a little difficult, complicated to explain. So if you're interested in what a digital certificate is, you can look that up. That might be a topic for another video. But anyways, most people don't know what this is or what it's for. Nothing in this email indicates why they want me to install this thing. Okay? So I did a little research trying to find out who the heck is Global Link, and I found out that it is a legitimate company that the person that sent this to me, questioning it, actually does business with. They made some sort of change on their computer system that this client of mine attaches to. The client of mine is a financial company, and what they do is they use some software that connects to this other company's computers, and it's a secured software that uses these things called digital certificates as part of its security. And the company made some changes, and they sent this bizarre, unfortunately, poorly worded, in my opinion, very poorly done email to all of their clients, most of whom are financial people. They're, portfolio people, they're back office people at investment companies. They're not computer people. They're not IT experts. They have no idea what this was referring to. They got panicked. They deleted it. They marked it as spam. Some of them even marked globallink.com as a spam source, meaning that they were no longer going to get what were legitimate emails and could be important information about their business accounts. So I contacted on their behalf this company, and I said you really should do a better job of explaining what this is and who you are, because Global Link is not the name of the company that the people that use the software are familiar with. It goes by a completely different name that most of them know it by. They don't call it Global Link. They call it something completely different. So I suggested to this company that they do a little better job in their future. Will they listen to me? Who knows? Okay. But it was a great thing that at least I've got clients that I've trained properly to understand that something didn't look right, and they asked before they clicked on anything. So once again, I thank you for watching, and I'm Joe Newman with Small Office Systems. Have any questions or comments about what I've talked about in this video, please feel free to contact me at info@smallofficesystems.biz. You can see it. The URL for my website is right above me, smallofficesystems.biz.com. Have any trouble with computers, any questions? We do it all. Starting a company, need advice on getting your systems up and running? Give me a call, send me an email. Thank you for watching.